this lesson, we are going to discuss about aggregate component in Talend. Before exploring the component, let us understand what we are going to do with aggregate and what is aggregate. We are using this data set that is Euromart stores. Here you can see that every record, every rows are having an order. Okay, so this is an order ID and in which date the order has been taken and customer name, country, state, city, extra, extra. So this complete one row relates to this order ID. Okay, so if you see in that manner, you have nearly 8,000 records in this data set. Fine. So if you see the country, you can see that we have various country like Sweden, United Kingdom, France, and Austria, Spain, etc. And if you see the state, you have many states as well. And if you see the city, you have various cities. And in region, you can see North, Central, and South region. Now, I need to find region-wise sales. Okay, so if you see here, you can see that this is a north region where you can see a single sale which has happened. Okay, you have another sales also happened in north. Let us understand with an example. See, you have a region and sales. Okay, so region is north, and for example, I'm just telling the sales is $12, and the region is north. For the second customer, the sales is $25, whereas the region is south and the sales is 36 $36. Likewise, if you have, you are having as a record base. Okay, that is a row wise. But if I want to find the scenario, now our scenario is, the question is region wise sales. Okay, so this is what our scenario. So what is the region wise sales? You want to know the region wise sales. So if you see for north, if you want to find what is the region wise sales, so it is 37. Am I right? So just add this to, so it will be 37. Okay, so for in order to do this, we need aggregate. Hope you all understand the meaning of an aggregate, that is consolidated. Okay, consolidated marks, you can also imagine like a mark sheet. Okay, that is consolidated and which is put together and according to the category, based on the category. So we are going to find one as a region wise sales, that is possible with an aggregate component, or else even you can see country wise sales. Okay, country wise sales also possible, and you can also do state wise profit. What is the sales wise profit? And after that you can find which is the highest profit, which sales is having an state is having an highest profit. Because according to our data, we have discount, sales, and profit, where we can find the highest sales which is having a lowest sales, likewise. Okay, so if you want to do this sales, that is the sales based on the region, so what are all the aggregate functions you have? You have sum, count, max, min. So this is a basic aggregation function. So apart from that, we have some more, some other as well. So now according to our scenario, that is region wise sales, we need to find sum. Okay, that is in north, how much sales has happened. Like you have to add these two entries and we have to print it. So that is what the logic behind it. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to create a job. This is a talent, and I'm going to create a job for that. You can see that aggregate. Okay, so I'm just going to give like an aggregate. Okay, aggregate and aggregate. Okay, so this is an aggregate job. I have created a job called aggregate, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drag and drop this Euromart store to the workspace. Okay, it will ask you for file input Excel. Click OK, and then you have to connect with the aggregate row that you can see in the processing section. Okay, so you can also see that in the processing you have an aggregate row, or else you can also connect like this. Okay, connect here. So click here, connect, aggregate. So you can have the aggregate row. Now double click on the aggregate row to configure it. Okay, let us configure because we need to find region wise sales. Okay, so just open the edit schema. You can see that you have all the columns which are there for call, which are there in your main input. Okay, so if possible, sometimes you might not see this column, so in that case you can click synchronize columns, or else go to the edit schema and you can select whatever the column which you want. Okay, so now we need only region and sales. Okay, this two is enough for our display. Since the question is region wise sales, so you don't want to print all the data, like you cannot group the group order id, right? Because order id is different. If you see, the order id is different here. Okay, order id is different, and if you see, customer name is different. We are going to group only with the region wise, so you can only make this as a group, and you can sum the sales. Okay, so that is what we are going to do now. So let us do it. So open, and here you can just remove the unwanted columns. Simply click this remove selected items. We need a region, so let us keep the region because we have to group it, and then we can also remove other unwanted column. We will keep the sales. Okay, and click OK. Now in group by, here you can see that you have an option called group by. Okay, so here we have to group. Now what we have to group, we have to group the region. Okay, so click here, you can see that automatically it appears to be a region, and in the operation you have to tell what you have to do. You have grouped that column, but what exactly you have to do, like either sum or maximum or minimum, so that you have to find out. Okay, so click here and select sales, and here if in the function you can see that you have various functions. Can you see that? Min, max, average, sum, first, last, list, etc, etc. So now according to our requirement we are going to find the sum. Got it? So just give sum, and then you can see, you can cross check that the input column position is exactly as sales. Okay, just leave it, and then if you want to ignore the null values you can click here, but according to our data set we don't have any null values, so simply keep it as such. Okay, and for this I'm just going to connect with the log row. Fine, so connect with the log row, and in the log row just change the configuration, that is a mode, to the table mode. Okay, so now I'm going to execute, just see how it is appearing. So click on run job. So you can see that what is processing from Euromart store, how many records are passed to the aggregate row. So whenever it is just passing the row, you can see also some rows are passed to here. See, actually from Euromart store to aggregate row, there are 8047 rows are transferred. But from aggregate row to the log row, you can see that you have only 3 rows. Okay, that is north, south, north, and central, and the sales amount has been added. Okay, it is showing the sum. Got it? So this is what the aggregate function you can do. And also you can do, if you want to find the profit, what is the profit based on the state, that is also possible. Based on the country, how much profit you have, how much total, that is how much sales you got it. So this everything you can see. So what is the purpose of this? What is the purpose? Why should I find region wise sales? Because through this you can easily understand that through central, in central region I have the highest sales. Okay, if you want to find in which you have the highest sales, you can find it. Okay, so this is what the purpose of tAggregateRow. And if you just click on that, you can see that if you want to group if you want to group based on another criteria as well, then you can add one more column. Okay, let us do that. See, I'm just simply clicking here edit schema, where you can see that only region and sales are here. Okay, if I want that is based on country, if I want to group based on country as well, so click on the country from the left side. Left side, that is a Euromart store input main. Select that, and you have an option called copy the selected columns. You can click that, where the country also will be copied to the aggregate row function. Okay, then click OK, and it will ask you that if you would like to propagate the changes, click S. So now if you just simply click add, you can see that country also coming up here, and the sales you can leave it as such. Now let us execute this again and see what is happening here. So from Euromart store to aggregate row, it will pass nearly 8047 rows, whereas from aggregate row to log row, it is showing only 15 rows, because you have 15 different countries. You can see here, right? You have Italy, okay, and Finland and Spain. So it is finding out based on the country as well. Okay, so you have 15 you have 15 countries. So based on that, it is showing up what is the aggregated sales. Okay, okay, so this is like you are just checking the region wise total sales. Okay, now I want to find region wise how many sales has happened. See, not a total sales, I just wanted to see how many sales. For example, 15 sales or 25 sales. So what is that actually? You should understand the logic behind it, count and sum. Okay, you should understand the logic behind count and sum. Okay, so let us understand that now. So counting means you are just going to count the number of occurrences. Okay, you are going to count the number of occurrences. For example, if you have 8000 records, okay, you are having 8000 records, whereas in that you have only 15 records which is having the sales for north. Okay, fine. So here what I'm going to do is, see, we are going to type, I'm just going to show you a sample records. I'm just going to type, okay, that is north. Fine, north, and you have sales 36. And if you go to south, okay, south, you have sales as 26. Okay, and central, okay, you have some sales. And if you see another north, you have nearly 25, the dollar 25 sales. Okay, the 36 2600 or sales. So if they're asking you like region wise how much sales has happened, how much sales, how many sales has happened, or so how much sales, total sales. Okay, so region wise total sales. Okay, if you want to calculate the region wise total sales, you have to use sum. Okay, so what it will do, you will be adding 36. The sum will be like 36 plus 26 plus 100 plus 25. Okay, so this is what region wise sales. Okay, whereas if you see, if you want to find how many regions are there, okay, how many regions are there, or how many totals, how many sales has happened. Okay, how many orders, okay, how many orders happened based on region or based on country, so whatever it may be. Number of orders based on the country, that you can easily write like that, number of orders, region wise number of orders. Okay, okay, so region wise number of orders. So how many orders has been counted, like you have to, here what you have to do, you have to count it. Okay, how you will count? Okay, north you have two orders. Okay, so north two orders, and south it is like one order, Central is 100 or that is one order. Can you understand? So region wise number of orders you have, and that you have to do count, because you cannot sum the orders, right? You cannot do total on the order id, but you can add the region, sorry, add the sum, that is the sales which has happened there. So here, even here you have to write, like for north it is 36 plus 25. Okay, and for south it is 26, and for central it is 100. Okay, so this is the difference between count and the sum. Okay, so that you should be very clear, and based on the scenario you have to choose the function wisely. Okay, so let us choose it here. So I want a region wise number of orders. Okay, so in that case what I can do, go to the aggregate function. You have okay, before that we have to add the, either we can add sales or else we can have the order id. Okay, just click edit schema, and remove this sales and country. You can also keep sales, that is not a issue, but it is good to have order id. Okay, uh, bring the order id to the aggregate row column, okay, aggregate row side, and then click ok. Click ok, where you can see that you have region. Okay, and here you have to use the order id, it should be count. Okay, you can see that you have count for that. Okay, now let us execute and see what is happening. Okay, so now let us see what is happening here. So let me just, because I'm just keep on editing here, no, so there might be some issue. So let us connect with a proper aggregate row, and see, if you directly go to edit schema, so you cannot see any column. Okay, whichever the column which you wish, you can simply have it here, and you need region wise order id. Click ok, and then click order id, and here click region, and then connect to log row. Okay, so now you can see that there is no warning symbol. Now we are going to execute. Just before that, let us just make this as a mode as a table and execute it. So look at here, it is from Euromaster how many records are passing through the t aggregate row component, and from t aggregate row. Okay, so sorry, count should be possible. I'm sorry. So order ID should be here. I'm extremely sorry. So order ID should be, sorry, region should be here, because we cannot group based on the order ID, because order ID are different. Okay, so that order ID will be different. So I'm just grouping based on order ID, counting based on order ID. So it should work now. Okay, so it is just passing the record. Okay. Okay, fine. So here the string functions, but it has to. Order ID can't be processed because of incompatible input or output type. Okay, okay. So let us try with no problem. Let us try with a different one. Okay, because it is searching for only the integer. Okay, that is how the component has been designed so far. So let us have region wise, even we can add, that is we can count the sales. Okay, because as far as I've been using that Euromart store, so there is no null value. So for every orders there will be a sales. Okay, so let us try counting the sales. So no problem with that. Okay, click here okay, and then here region wise you can group it, and in sales we can make it as a count. Okay, So just make it as a count. So this is sales, so keep it as sales and click execute. Okay, so these are all the errors, so you should be able to understand what is the error. Fine. So if like the previous, what error it has showed is that, because since this is a string, okay, it cannot it cannot use the count function for the string variable. That is what it is trying to show you. But in SQL and in other databases we can do the count, because since even though it is a string, no, you can count the occurrences. Okay, so but here you cannot do it, because they have configured the component based on accordingly. So you can see here that for south you have nearly 1810 sales has happened, and in north you have 1811 sales, and for central you have 4426 sales has happened. Okay, so these are all the sales, and they have counted the number of sales. Okay, that is a number. And previously you might have seen that in the sum you can see that the sales sum of sales is very higher than the count. Okay, this is about t aggregate row. And you have another option which is we call it as a t aggregate sorted row. In sorted row, it is like if you are confident that your columns are sorted. Okay, your columns are sorted in any proper way, the column which you are trying to use aggregate should be sorted one. Sorted one in the sense what, either in an ascending or a descending order, then you can use the aggregate. Okay, so aggregate sorted row you can use it, or else it is better to go with an aggregate row. So for aggregate sorted row, it will give you the improved performance. Okay, rather than aggregate row, the aggregate sorted row it will improve the performance, and it will have a good like a good throughput. Okay, so if you are confident that your database data set which you are using is in a sorted manner, then you can use the aggregate sorted row component, or else you can go with the aggregate row, simply aggregate row.